Hi, and it's Sue here from Inspired Messages. And I don't know whether you missed me in the month of November. And I did do a video which I did on my phone, and it was all there on my phone. But when I uploaded it onto YouTube, it went into shorts, which is not the video bit, and was only there for, I don't know, 15 seconds. So goodness knows what happened. But anyway, I'm back on my on my um, laptop, and so hopefully you're going to get December's edition. So you probably know that there's lots going on around the world. Maybe that we aren't actually. Well, we're not being shown it on the news or anything like that, but it is there if you care to look for it. So if you do take my newsletter, obviously there are links on there under the life purpose heading. I have put links to a few things that are going on, positive things, I think, maybe a couple of negative, but the majority of what I put in there is positive. I think we do need to see both sides of the coin, as it were. So here we are in December, and it's not very nice weather, is it? It's cold, but we will be having the winter solstice this month, and that will be the shortest day, and then it will start to get light from that moment, and so we can then look forward, can't we, towards the spring. So it's not very many weeks, really, when you think about it. So on we've already had the first, but I'm going to say what I was going to say because today is the third. I'm recording it, but on the first we did have Venus, which was opposite Mars. So we've got two energies going on. We've got the male energy, which is the Mars energy, and the female energy, and they're opposite one another. And I think this is playing out in the world. This you know people trying to stand up for themselves. And I think it's about not being aggressive, but being assertive. And I think it's about standing in our own truth. And so that theme, that Mars Venus theme, does kind of pop up now and again throughout the month, and also justice. So I think even though we've had the first, this energy is around us. And on the second, which was yesterday, we had Venus sextiling Saturn, and the sextiles are always good, and that brings us wisdom. It brings us love with the Venus, and it gives stability. So that energy is around us at the moment. And on the 8th of December, we're going to have the full moon, and the full moon is going to be in the sign of Gemini. Now, Gemini is the twins, and when Gemini is around, there can be lots of chatter, lots of communication, and maybe sometimes misinformation. And we sometimes, with when Gemini comes up, because it's two, we need to make a decision. It's indicating that there are choices to be made. And so, on a personal level, I'm going to say, well, on the 8th, ask yourself what choices you need to make in your life. Um, on a world level, then there are lots of choices that are being made as we speak, with people doing things all, as I say, all around the world. So the moon is conjunct Mars. So Mars is the god of war. So here we have that Martian energy again. So anger could surface, and that could be due to the information, the Gemini information, because that full moon is in Gemini. And Neptune also aspects that sun and moon. So maybe, as I said, it could be misinformation. But also, we can use these energies for good. So Neptune is really good for creating something and creative visualization, because it's in, it's all about Gemini, this full moon. So let's try to create using creative visualization in our mind, what we want our life to be like. I think that is really, really key. And also, interestingly, in this chart, in this full moon chart, we have the black moon Lilith, and she is opposite Pluto. Now, I do have a course. Well, it's not a course; it's a presentation on Udemy, which is an American site, all about black moon Lilith. And if you do take my newsletter, there's a link on there that takes you through to the course or the presentation. Now, the prices do vary. So if you want it, but you want a cheaper price, just keep looking at it periodically, and you will see that the price will fluctuate, and then go and buy it at a very kind of reasonable price. But just to say about Black Moon Lilith, the myth is really interesting. So she is known as somebody who is very, very strong, who will not be pushed around. And it's it's interesting because it's opposite Pluto. This black moon is opposite Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, but it's also about power and control. So I think it's also about the divine feminine and natural law, and that's what she's really kind of connected to. So I think this could be very much connected to transformation of the divine feminine, about maybe women being taken more kind of seriously, and also Black Moon also represents children as well. And I think children, if you're aware, are not being treated as they should be, let's put it like that. So I think she could come in, this energy could come in and sort out the mistreatment of children. So I think, yeah, it's an interesting to have this in this full moon chart. Now, full moons are always very kind of high energy anyway, and the police, I've talked to you about this before, the police and the hospitals always have more intake because the energy is higher, so there's more problems. And so it is important that you maybe sit in the moonlight and think about what you no longer want in your life, and do a full moon ritual, set the stage, maybe, sit with some crystals and put some nice music on, and write a list and say, I no longer want any of this in my life. And so if you can do that on the 8th, that would be great. Also in this full moon chart, we have the sun aspect in Uranus. That indicates freedom and protest. And we've got a lot of that going on around the world. And I have put a link on that on my newsletter. There's a little video on that, on what's happening in Brazil. So on the 12th, we're going to have the Sun sextiling Saturn, and that brings solid, lasting growth. And it's good for plans and consolidating projects. So this is good, it's a positive. And on the 14th, we're going to have the Sun squaring Neptune. So this can bring confusion and lack of clarity. So if you have any decisions to make on the 14th, I would leave it till the 17th, because on the 17th, Mercury is going to trine Uranus. So this gives you, a quick grasp of any situation. You'll know what to say. You'll have the right idea at the right moment. It's the sign of the genius, having aha moment. So it's really, really good. And you'll have much more clarity if you wait till the 17th. So remember that. And then on the 20th, Jupiter moves back into Aries. And this is highlighting justice and freedom and truth and hope for a better future, which may seem a tall order, but we have to be positive. And to help with that, on the 21st, we have the winter solstice, which is the shortest day. And that's the day that the sun moves into Capricorn. And the sun actually aspects Jupiter, which is this planet of freedom and justice. And that card came up, the justice card came up. And Jupiter will be at 0 degrees of Aries, which is the spring equinox degree, and it's a powerful point. So this is a positive sign indicating a new beginning is on the horizon. So I think this is, a great card to come up, and it goes with what I've said from the 20th and the 21st. And then on the 23rd, we've got the new moon, and that new moon is going to be in the sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn, is ruled by Saturn. So, and a new moon is a time for making plans. So this new moon will be good because it's in Capricorn. It's about structure. It's about making plans really that stand the test of time. And so it will be a good time to do a new moon ritual, which is exactly the same. You set your scene and you write a list of what you want to happen, under the new moon in the next 28 days. Okay. And the card that came up was the Wheel of Fortune. And so obviously this is about cycles. Life goes in cycles. We have ups, we have downs in our lives. And we have cycles in astrology. So we have, the Jupiter return every 12 years in our chart, which indicates a new beginning for us. So at 24, at 36, at 48, and at 60, we have a new cycle. We have other cycles as well, but that's a really good cycle. And it kind of goes with this. So if you are that age, you might be experiencing a Jupiter cycle and a new beginning. And this card is about evolution. It's about moving on. I think it's a good card to have. And because it's come up, we have had it quite a few times actually in the last few readings. I think it's positive that it keeps coming up. And so I'm kind of quite happy about that. Now, on the 29th, Mercury goes retrograde, and it goes retrograde until the 18th of January, and it is in Capricorn. And so it's giving us more time to plan, more time, to decide what we want for our future. And always when Mercury goes retrograde, well, with any planet going retrograde, it's about reflection. So you need to decide or reflect when Mercury's retrograde, whether you're doing the right thing. Are the plans that you're making right for you? Listen to your intuition. But basically, it's time to reflect and plan because it's in Capricorn, a golden future. And this card came up, which is the Sun card. Okay, so that's indicating a sunny disposition, or a sunny. It's really nice actually. It's giving us a golden future, really. Now the sun does indicate the male principle, and we've talked about the very first transit was Venus, which is the feminine, opposite Mars, which is the masculine and the male energy. So this card, it does represent the masculine. So we've had both running through this month's transits, and obviously this card came up, indicating that perhaps we're right, and we are going into a new paradigm. We're going into a new earth. And one thing is that the sun always shines every day. Well, it doesn't shine every day, it's always there, every day, probably behind the clouds. But the light is there every day, and the sun always rises every day. So this, is a very positive card to have, I think, at the end of this reading. And it is a time of transformation. And this card did come up as well, which people do get frightened of, but is the card of transformation. Out of the phoenix, out of the ashes rises the phoenix. And so it's a positive card. It's not a negative card, because before we can have something new, everything has to crumble, and that's what's happening around the world. Everything is crumbling, and it's not very nice for us to witness it, because um, we're so connected to our structures, and we don't really like change. Some people do, but the majority of us would rather stay with what we know, rather than leap into something completely new. And if things are breaking down around you, I always say, if one, when one door shuts, another always opens. My mum used to say that. It's so true. So I think we are seeing the breakdown, and we are seeing everything crumble. And with Neptune transits as well, with the information coming to the surface, we're going to see a lot more of that in 2023. And if you care to look, um, it is there already now. And obviously, on my newsletter, I do put links so that you can get some of this information, and you don't have to search for it. You just have to click on the link that I put in my newsletter. So yes, this card, but that actually came at the beginning, because I felt this was very much about the Black Moon Lilith opposite Pluto, because Pluto rules is connected to this card. So this very much came at the beginning of the reading, under the full moon, and this card is, the positive card at the end of the reading. So I know it's going to be okay, and I want you to know that it's going to be okay too. We just have to ride the storm and get through everything as best we can. So, the affirmation this month is hand on heart. We stand at the doorway to a new, beautiful world. We stand at the doorway to a new, beautiful world. So say that every day, and remember that many people are talking about consciousness and about energy, and that we are more than we think we are, and that our words have power. So we get what we think we're going to get. We get what we expect. So we need to put it out there. We need to put it out there that we are expecting a new and beautiful world where there will be peace and harmony. It's not at the moment. We're in the transition stage. So stay safe, stay positive, and I will be with you hopefully at the beginning of January. I will be back in Thailand, so I will be doing it from there. So have a great Christmas, and you know where I am. You just have to contact me through my website, which is astrologysue.com, and you can just contact me, and I'll get back to you. So have a great month, have a great Christmas and New Year, and I will see you in 2023. So bye for now. Bye bye.